A VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, is a privacy protection tool that is quickly becoming a must-have. But why do you need a VPN, and how does it work in the first place? A VPN helps your data travel through the internet safely, without big companies or cybercriminals being able to spy on your online activities. Also, a VPN swaps the real location of your device with a new one. This way, you can virtually travel to any country around the globe. So, who can benefit from a VPN? If you're worried about your online privacy, a VPN makes sure your identity and private information are not exposed when you go online. If digital security is your top priority, a VPN gives a nice additional layer of security. It encrypts your data so nobody could see what you send and receive. If you are a human rights activist whose freedom of speech is restricted, a VPN helps you to bypass censorship and speak to the world. Or, if you're on holiday in another country, with a VPN, you can bring your home entertainment anywhere you go. Here's a pro tip: check out Surfshark VPN. It has everything you need in a premium VPN, awesome speeds, and industry-leading protection that covers all of your devices. All you have to do is click connect. Secure your digital life and enjoy everything good that the internet has to offer with a VPN you can trust.
Click link in the description and get 81% discount for your first order. Rinsing excess varnish from the brush. Read the label of the varnish to determine if it's water or solvent-based. The back of the varnish can tell you whether it's water-based and needs to be cleaned with water, or if it's solvent-based and should be cleaned with mineral spirits. In general, polyacrylic varnishes are water-based. Spar-urethane is water-based. Polyurethane can be water or solvent-based. Acrylic polymer varnish is solvent-based. Fill 4 containers with 2 inches 5.1 cm of warm water or mineral spirits. Get out 4 containers or bowls that are wide enough to fit the brush bristles. Clean yogurt containers are great for this since they are deep and you can easily dispose of them later. Pour 2 inches 5.1 cm of water into each container if you're cleaning water-based varnish. Use mineral spirits if you're cleaning a solvent-based varnish like acrylic polymer. If you're using mineral spirits to clean the brush, open a window so you get good ventilation. Although you can use turpentine instead of mineral spirits, it's more toxic, so be more cautious using it and disposing of it. Turpentine is a better choice if there's some dried paint or varnish in your brush. Instead of filling 4 containers, you can fill just 1 container if you're using water. Then, pour out the water and refill it with fresh water after each rinse. Swish the brush for 1 minute in the first container. Dip the bristles of your varnish brush into the first container and firmly push down while you swish the bristles back and forth. Bend the brush bristles back and forth so the water or mineral spirits work up into the bristles. This counts as 1 rinse. Rinsing the brush 3 more times works most of the varnish out of the bristles. Rinse the brush in the other containers for 1 minute each. Take the brush out of the first container and put it into the next one. Swish and bend the bristles for another minute before you move it to the container next to it. Repeat this so you rinse the brush in each of the containers for a full minute each. As you rinse the brush in the separate containers, the first container becomes dark or cloudy with varnish. The second container is a little murky, and the liquids in the following containers are lighter as you loosen varnish from the bristles. If you're using just 1 container full of water, empty it and refill it with fresh water after each rinse. Never pour mineral spirits down the drain. Instead, put a lid on the container and take it to your local waste management facility for proper disposal. If you're not using a yogurt container, it's fine to pour all of the liquids into a single container with a lid. Washing the brush with soapy water. Rinse the bristles in the sink and squeeze liquid dish soap across them. Take your varnish brush to the sink and run warm water over it. Then, squirt liquid dish soap across bristles. It's safe to do this in the sink since you've just removed most of the mineral spirits from the bristles. If you have solid soap for paintbrushes, feel free to use it. Just rub the wet bristles onto the hard soap to work the product into the brush. Rub the soap through the bristles for 30 seconds to clean them thoroughly. Use your fingers to work the dish soap through the brush. The brush, the brush, the brush, the brush. Massage the bristles and brush against the palm of your hand to work soap deep into the brush. Do this for at least 30 seconds. The soap probably won't become sudsy on this first wash since there's still a lot of varnish in the bristles. Don't be scared to push firmly as you clean since this is the best way to get varnish out of your brush. Rinse the brush with warm water and wash it with soap again. Pull the bristles away as you rinse to get rid of the soap and varnish. Then, squirt more liquid dish soap on the brush and rub it through the bristles. Keep rubbing until the soap becomes sudsy. If the soap doesn't foam up in the brush the second time you wash it, rinse it and wash it a third time. Keep washing and rinsing until the bristles are covered with soap bubbles. Rinse the brush a final time. Once you're satisfied that you've worked the soap deep into the brush and lifted the acrylic varnish, it's time to rinse. Hold the brush under warm running water and pull away the bristles so the water completely rinses everything from the brush, 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 from the brush. The bristles should feel clean, not slick or sticky once you've finished rinsing. Drying and storing the varnish brush. Varnish brush, varnish brush, varnish brush. Shake the brush 2 to 3 times to get rid of some of the water. Grab the brush by the handle and shake it vigorously 2 or 3 times so the excess water falls into the sink. This makes your job of drying the brush a lot easier. If you don't have a very deep sink, try doing this outside so you don't make a mess in your kitchen or bathroom. Hold the brush upside down and spin the handle between your palms. Turn the brush upside down so the bristles are pointed towards the sink. Hold the handle between both of your palms and rub your hands back and forth really fast so the brush spins. Spin the brush between your hands for 10 seconds so most of the water flies out into the sink and the bristles are just damp, not soaking wet. Place the brush on brown paper and wrap the paper around the bristles. Tear off a piece of butcher paper or paper from a brown bag and lay it flat. Set the brush on the paper so the handle extends away from the paper. Then, fold the paper over the bristles and keep turning the brush to wrap the bristles completely. The paper protects the bristles from getting bent out of shape as the brush dries. If you want to cover the ends of the bristles, fold the end of the paper towards the base of the brush. The base of the brush, 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 of the brush. Lay the brush flat and leave it to dry overnight. Set the wrapped brush on a flat surface or on the edge of your sink and let it air dry. Check the bristles the next day and feel for moisture. If they are still a little damp, let the brush finish drying before you use it for another project or coat of varnish. If you don't want to wrap the brush, hang it with the bristles pointing down to dry overnight. Hang the brush or store it flat in between uses. If you're done using your varnish brush, you can hang it with the bristles pointing down so they aren't pushing against anything, or lay the brush flat. Don't stack anything on top of the brush so the bristles keep their shape.